How's it going, everyone? This is John here today at the Decentralized Masters podcast, the number one podcast when it comes to crypto and anything DeFi. Today is a little different. We do not have Tristan with us. So Tristan, unfortunately, won't be able to make it anymore on Tuesdays, but we will have him join us every Thursday. So that's going to be very exciting. As all of you know, we are going live twice a week now, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, I'll be having these sessions alone. Might have a special guest here and there joining us. Make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you are brand new, and as well comment down below if you have any questions. But today we're going to be talking about the market. A lot of huge things have been happening these last few weeks. A lot of market volatility as we expected, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't expect this much. I was aware of volatility, but not this much volatility. So let's go ahead and take a look at crypto bubbles. Right now, crypto bubbles, as you see, I wouldn't really call it neutral. A little bit more red in the market, more selling pressure coming in. We see Jupiter at 11% down today. AVAX 6%, not too bad. Radium at 9%. And those are really the ones that really stand out to me. I mean, there's a few that are green, like Litecoin, Maker, Tau, but nothing outrageously to go ahead and say this is insane, right? So far with everything all across the board, we see a little bit more neutral. Sand down 9%. Now let's go ahead and take a look into what is causing this in the market and what we could be expecting moving forward. So getting crypto bubbles out the way, I want to go ahead and first start off with major news. So the Argentina president faces impeachment calls over crypto crash. So basically, if you guys are not aware, what ended up happening last Friday is that he went ahead and launched his own meme coin. You heard that right. The president of Argentina went ahead and launched his meme coin. The token called Libra. It was supposed to be a plan to go ahead and help Argentina and small businesses when it came to funding. And guess what happened? As you would imagine, a token, a meme coin in specifically, this is what it looked like. So as soon as it went ahead and launched, it went as high as over 4.6 billion market cap. And then next thing you know, you're followed right away within a few minutes or hours with a nice correction of over 96%. This is insane. I don't think we've seen anything this crazy in a few years. It almost literally seems like a total rug pull. And the problem that we have going on with this is that, as you see right now, there's still a lot of selling pressure. We did see a pickup right here these last couple hours. I think it was actually yesterday. And that was because the president went ahead and literally tweeted out a guide of how to purchase the Libra token. But with that being said, what has been going on in the space is exactly this token. This meme token on Solana has caused a lot of volatility, a lot of FUD in the space. And most specifically, there has been a lot of fear in regards to the crypto market these last couple days. I think a lot of more FUD might be coming in. But as we always talk about here on the stream, we usually like to buy during red times like this in the market, right? So I loaded up a little bit, not too much, because the market does seem unstable. Well, we're going to look into the market a little bit shortly, but I want to go ahead and show you this with Libra. So as you see, they have over $62 million in liquidity, market cap at $262 million. It's still down over 80% plus since it launched. And you may ask, John, why did it launch so quickly and so fast? Well, the big drama going on right now in crypto Twitter is that the guy that went ahead and launched a token actually also launched the Milani token. And basically, he went ahead and let everything out. He basically, if you go over, I think his name is CoffeeZilla. If you go ahead and search him up on YouTube, he usually pinpoints and describes how a lot of these actors scam or how the scam works. And this guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the one who helped launch the token. And he claims that apparently he didn't know about any malicious attack that they had, but he did pretty much expose everyone. He did mention there was a lot of insider trading, basically. What ended up happening is that the team with Miorda, as you see, this is the platform where they went ahead and launched. And a platform you could actually go ahead and swap tokens, provide liquidity and things like that. some of the people from that team actually were working behind the scenes when it came to this token. So what ended up happening here with this token is they went ahead and did what's called sniping the token. The reason why they use that term is because usually when you go ahead and snipe a token before it releases, what you do is with a tool, right? It's a very high power tool. It could be a trading bot that makes a massive purchase very quickly for you without you having to be there. Because even if you knew about this token's launch, there was a high probability, 99.9%, you probably wouldn't had the chance to even get a chance to purchase the token. Because you got to keep in mind, these people that are trading these meme tokens, they're using some very high powerful tools. Sometimes, tools that they created themselves, and sometimes bots that you could go ahead and use publicly, such as Photon, to go ahead and name a few, BonkBot. There's a few of those, especially if you guys are in our private community. I've talked about Photon Bot, and essentially that's what they did. They went ahead and sniped the token. So basically, what ends up happening is that as soon as the token goes live, this bot automatically makes a purchase the second liquidity gets put into the token, and they're able to go ahead and buy up a lot of the supply. Well, what they ended up getting to as well is they ended up getting an early contract, basically meaning they knew the contract to the address before anyone. So there was a group of insiders that had the smart contract address, which is this right here. This is the smart contract address, this right here at the bottom. And this contract address, you would go ahead and put into a swap to go ahead and make the purchase. And basically what ended up happening is a lot of people had that. A lot of insiders had that information, went ahead and sniped a token, went ahead and launched, went ahead and provided liquidity ahead of time before the token launch. And right when the token actually officially went live, this is what caused the token to go all the way up. Now, there was a lot of insiders, a lot of influencers coming out that they were part of this, and this is what has been shaking out the market. And that's really why we've been seeing a lot of volatility in this space, especially with Solana. So just wanted to go ahead and give you a quick little rundown of what that was. I'm wondering if we could actually even access the website that they had. It looks like we cannot access the website. But yeah, this is the Libra token. We'll see where things go. But yeah, it's pretty massive thing, right? So this guy's spilling out the beans with everything that's going on in the meme coin world, which we've always told you, be very, very careful. The meme coin world is super manipulated. I do love meme coins, but you have to be very, very careful because there is a lot of insider trading. Stick to your blue chip meme coins if you do decide to do that. Now, for the next, we're going to be talking about the FTX 1.2 billion repayments are actually today. So a lot of people during the last bull run went ahead and lost a lot of money due to the FTX crash. A lot of you might have heard of what the FTX crash is. And if you guys are not aware, FTX was one of the actually largest exchanges at the time. And a long story short, basically came crashing down, and everyone who had their money on this exchange went ahead and lost all their funds. So literally over 3-4 years of not being able to recover your funds. And this is one of the biggest things, one of the main reasons why here at Decentralized Masters, we always preach, go ahead and purchase a ledger. A ledger is this little device right here for all of you that are not aware. Let me go ahead and show you. Oops, I went ahead and did something I wasn't supposed to. So there you go. This is what a ledger is. So this is a ledger device, and that little ledger device, you're able to go ahead and hold on to your crypto assets. And basically, this is the way you become your own bank with no control, no centralized entity or any kind of exchange, right? So a lot of people that had their funds in this platform basically lost their money. And today, actually, they went ahead and it looks like on the 18th is when they started paying, which is today. Yeah. So today they went ahead and issued out about 1.2 billion to all those that were affected. Now, keep in mind, these were funds that they were holding on to. Their value is a lot less. I don't think they're giving out today's value. I think they were giving out the value of when the platform went down. So that's what we're seeing in today's market with the FTX. So we could be expecting, in my opinion, a lot of possibly a lot of volatility coming in as far as purchasing power because of these freed up tokens that people are now getting. It's not really free as money that they once had, but they lost and now they gained access to. So now let's go on to the other news. So now we're on to, I believe, our third, Pi Network. So Pi Network sees a surge in popularity ahead of its mainnet launch. So what is Pi Network? A lot of you might have heard about this. Pi Network was actually an application that was created over 4 years ago. I think it was actually more. And basically, it was a platform where you would go ahead and mine this crypto token called the Pi within the Pi Network. And over 4 to 5 years, it's been over 4 years plus that people have been patiently waiting. And they're actually finally going to be going live, I believe, the 20th of this month. So big things are going to be coming in very, very soon. So I highly suggest 10 days from now, if you are in the Pi Network platform, this platform, you're basically mining crypto. Like I said, you would literally go ahead and push a button and you would mine tokens. I'm really curious to know what the value is going to be for this. Now, there has been a lot of meme tokens launching in regards to the Pi Network coming out in the next 10 to 9 days. So just be very, very cautious and careful. But if you are mining Pi Network like myself, fortunately and unfortunately, the good thing is that I was able to recover my account yesterday. I had a buddy of mine texted me. He's like, hey, John, Pi Network is finally going live. And I was like, no way. I've been hearing about that. Logged into my account and I kind of regret not mining those tokens. At one point, I was like, I think this is a scam. I'm getting rid of it. And I deleted it and I stopped mining. And literally all you would have to do is every day just click a button. I'm pretty sure it was harvesting your data. That's what everyone was saying. And at one point, I was like, there's no way this application is free. Like, how are we getting free points? I'm like, how are we getting free coins? I'm like, we have to be the product to this, right? So Pi Network is going to be going live. They are going to be listing on OKX platform. Luckily, I wouldn't say luckily or unluckily. It just really depends. I mean, I really wish I would have continued mining, but I only have, I think I have about 100 tokens unverified. We're going to see how many tokens actually get verified. Last time I checked, last night I had over 16 tokens. So hopefully they're worth something. I mean, that's going to be very exciting right now, considering what's going on with the space. Now, if you are not, let me go ahead and reverse that. So I forgot to mention, if you are a holder or a miner of Pi Network, I would highly, highly recommend all of you go ahead and verify KYC, because within 10 to 9 days, I think it's 9 days now, they are going to be going live. And if you do not verify your information, you are not going to get those tokens. So if you in the past had a friend that recommended you this platform, I'm sure a lot of you probably come across this. I would highly recommend, if you deleted it, re-download it, go ahead and put in your KYC, get verified, and we're going to go ahead and see if we could get some free money. Hopefully these tokens are worth something, you know, even if we could get a couple grand off of these, that'd be nice. Not keeping my hopes up too much. Now, for the second thing I wanted to mention, do not buy into the FOMO of this token. Highly, highly would recommend, once it goes live, stay away from it. I wouldn't suggest you guys to go ahead and buy it. Just stay away. If you are interested into buying this, just go ahead and stay in the sideline, wait for it to recover or dump. You know, usually these tokens, especially when it comes to, like, this is basically going to be an airdrop, they usually go ahead and coming down, right? They are going to be launching on OKX and most top platforms. We're going to see if Coinbase lists them, but usually when Coinbase lists a token, it's not really even good anyways. So that's what we have for that for Pi. And now Ether ETFs register 393 million in inflows this month as crypto investors turn their back on Bitcoin. Now, you may be asking, John, why does this matter? The market's red. Who cares? Ethereum's dead. Ethereum's not coming back. Well, check this out. Basically, I've been saying that I do believe that we will be seeing that pivot from Bitcoin onto Ethereum, and specifically Ethereum tokens. So this definitely gives us a little bit more of a positive sign, meaning we could be entering that potential altcoin season we have all been waiting for, right? As we all know, Ethereum has been lagging by a lot. We've never seen this before in previous cycles. And it's really, really interesting to see how things have changed really, really quickly, right? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and see right here. Let me go ahead and read a little bit about this, because I think this is very, very important for us to know going into our technical analysis so we could go ahead and get a broader idea of what's going on with the market. So what to know, Ether spot ETFs have seen a net inflow of 393 million this month per Farsight investors. Bitcoin ETFs have seen net outflows of 376 million. So as you're seeing, more inflows for Ethereum are coming in and more outflows are going in for or going out for Bitcoin. So could be possibly Bitcoin dominance topping and moving over to Ethereum. That would be the best thing ever. That would mean basically altcoin season. Hopefully, that would mean, Bitcoin dominance is now shifting into a little bit more of the risk on assets. But we first need to go ahead and see a little bit more confidence in this market before we start talking about that. And there's some critical areas we need to focus on for Ethereum as well. So let's go ahead and take a look into the charts. But before I do that, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is bullish for the altcoins? What do you feel and what do you think about this overall? I think this is pretty positive. Like I mentioned, comment down below. Go ahead and send a message chat. I will go ahead and reply to your question, but let's go into the charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin, as we see, this is what we were hoping for these last couple days, specifically last week. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened. It's we're seeing a little bit more of some side action right now. These black candlesticks are basically red candlesticks. I just went ahead and switched them up. So mentally, it doesn't hit too much, right? When you're seeing red all across the market, I went ahead and changed the color to black. I would highly recommend you guys to do that. Change it to any other color but red, because psychologically, when you see red in your head, it kind of panics you. That's the reason why we have stop signs, if you've ever wondered. I think those colors catch your attention. I think it's between red and yellow. That's why McDonald's also has those colors, by the way. But anyways, off track. Talking about Bitcoin, as we see, not much has happened. One thing I could go ahead and say, support is still being held, which is really, really good. We are still seeing Bitcoin right here at around this $95,000 range. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what could potentially be happening. So one thing that we could be looking out for, and before I go into that, hello, Teresa, welcome in. We are hoping that altcoins take off. Yes, I'm hoping, we're all hoping. Meme coins have been getting demolished. I'm sure a lot of the narrative plays have also. And altcoins, as I've always mentioned, is where the money will be made. But without Bitcoin doing its thing, we can be expecting that, right? So fingers crossed. As I mentioned last week, this thing could happen a lot quicker than we expect. So let's go ahead and take a look into the charts. Comment down below, guys. As you see, I've just responded to Teresa. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and engage with me. It makes the stream a lot more fun for both of us. But anyways, worst case scenario for Bitcoin, and it's not so much of a worst case scenario, but remember how we talked about weeks ago about how there's a potential that we could possibly see Bitcoin fall down to this $87,000 range and hopefully come back up in action. I should go ahead and change the color on this because this is not, I can't see anything. Okay, there you go. That's a little slightly better. Let me know if you guys can see that or if you need me to go ahead and change the color to that. But as you see, I think there could be a possibility that we could entertain $87,000 one last time. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'll go ahead and show you the reason why now. As I've always mentioned, I do not want to see this move just because there will be a lot of fear, a lot more fear in the market. And then two, if we do go ahead and break this support, keep in mind, because we have been in this channel for quite a long time now, I think it's going into, let me go ahead and tell you exactly how many days we've been in this. We've been in about 85. This is 85 days right here. There's no way that's 85. Is it already? Wow, that's crazy. Time flies by super fast. Yeah, it says about 85 days. So we've been within this channel for 85 days. So seeing Bitcoin lose this channel, it's not going to look too good. And there definitely will be a lot more fear coming into the market. So this is something we do not want to go ahead and see. But as we've talked about in the past, remember how I mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another flash crash down to this $87,000 range, then reverse back up, start seeing a lot of buying pressure, because by here, around this zone, there could be a high probability we'll be having a lot of selling pressure. So we'll go ahead and be seeing a quick reversal as that bounces. That's what we typically see in the markets. As you see right here, we saw this move right here where it had a little liquidation and the market went up. And then right here, another liquidation and the market quickly picked up, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see a move like that. As I mentioned, the only reason why I'd be worried to see something like this, because as I mentioned, it would be breaking structure. Not saying that we can't come back up. It's very, very possible, but it will definitely go ahead and bring up a lot of fear. And the reason why I want to go ahead and tell you this and show you this is because we've done this multiple times. We've broken structure multiple times on Bitcoin. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm saying don't be surprised if we do see this kind of move. I've always shown you guys this chart right here with Bitcoin in the past, how we've always seen these situations happen in the market, as we saw right here. Bitcoin at $47,000 back in January 2024. And then we saw Bitcoin come all the way down to as low as $38,000. And as you see, same thing right here. If we were to go ahead and measure how many days we were within this range consolidating, you would go ahead and see we were consolidating within this range for about 53 days. But before we broke structure, it was about 46 days. And then we saw it break support, which wasn't a good thing. Everybody thought this was the end of the world. Everyone was screaming for $10,000 Bitcoin. And guess what happened? We quickly saw the market reverse. We saw this inverse head and shoulders pattern right here with this breakout, and then up Bitcoin goes, makes new all-time high. Now, let me go ahead and show you another case. This was, I wouldn't say a most recent case, but this was literally just a few months ago. A lot of you might have been here in the market with us. If not, this was definitely very, very hard to go through. If we were to go ahead and see right here back in March of 2024, this is where Bitcoin ended up topping at around $73,000. And if we were to go ahead and measure how long we were within this range, before we really started seeing a breakout or seeing some momentum, I would say ideally was about 225 days before we saw the market do anything. So literally almost a whole year of Bitcoin not doing anything. And then coming around into October, November, we ended up seeing the breakout with Bitcoin. But what I want to go ahead and show you is that we had a very similar structure multiple times these last couple months. We had this structure right here. This is a little scarce. We had it also at this range right here, as you see that square, and then right here. And right here, this is one of the biggest liquidations. I think SUI right here, when Bitcoin dumped at $49,000, was as low, I believe, as low as, if I'm not mistaken, 40 or 80 cents. I'll go ahead and show you right now in the charts. I completely forgot. My head right now is not fully there. But it was very, very low. And I'll go ahead and show you exactly where that was the bottom. And I remember exactly, there was a lot of fear in the markets, a lot of doubt. People were totally over the market and lost hope. You know, they didn't believe in this anymore. And guess what ended up happening? This is exactly what happened. Well, you guys know, because we're living it right now. But as you guys know, Bitcoin went up. Bitcoin went up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to go ahead and see a move like this. Like I said, ideally, I wouldn't want to go ahead and see that, because I do think that there's going to be a lot more fear and a lot more downside to the altcoins, which we've already seen a lot. We've already seen over 40 to 50%. If you are on the meme coins, you've seen already 60 to 80, possibly even 90%, right? The Libra definitely took out a lot of the liquidity. So $87,000, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it come back down here. Like I said, it's not a problem seeing $87,000. It's not the end of the world. Where it will be the end of the world, and it's probably not fully, but it'll be a problem when we see Bitcoin come back down to $87,000 and then struggle to break through this. And then once we start seeing this is not going to be a good sign. This is not going to be a good sign, because now this is basically telling us that we are officially in a downtrend for Bitcoin. So as I mentioned, very, very critical areas for Bitcoin. And this is not just Bitcoin. This is literally the whole crypto market. Not all the tokens. Some tokens are doing their own thing as usual, but Bitcoin, for the most part, and most altcoins are following this exactly. They're literally hanging on by the thread, getting ready to either break up or break down. And we definitely want to see them break up. We do not want to see them break down. Like I said, it won't be the end of the world, but breaking down, especially we would be hitting this major area of resistance, which is what we do not want to go ahead and see. So what we want to go ahead and see for Bitcoin before I go ahead and pivot and start reading comments, make sure to comment down below. We want to go ahead and see Bitcoin first go ahead and break past this $103,000 range. Between this 106, as you see right here, this is our POC, which stands for a point of control. This is where a lot of the selling pressure, basically, if you want to call it, or resistance, is located right here at 105,003 to be exact. But ideally, as I mentioned, this has been a very strong area of resistance, basically meaning that every time Bitcoin has entered these ranges, there has always been a lot of selling pressure. So if we actually go back right here, and the reason why I'm showing you this is just so you can kind of get a mental activity, so you could go ahead and get used to this in the market. So as you see right here, we see Bitcoin reject this area multiple times. And this is one of the main reasons why this is an important area, because basically what this is telling us is that there's a lot of selling pressure at around these ranges. And if we can't break through this anymore, then we will be switching into a downtrend. But so far, as I mentioned, always zoom out. Market's looking good overall. But once we do, let's talk about the best case scenario. Let's say in the next coming weeks, market does start to pick up, because there is a few signs that are looking pretty good. And I'll go ahead and show you right now. So if you guys are getting ready to leave the stream, do not leave yet, because there is some positive news. And I'll go ahead and show you this, what we're looking at. And I'm hoping this is the case. And I'm sure we're going to see some sort of move in the next coming weeks. We're going to know what's going to happen. But another thing is, keep in mind, we could literally be in this market like this for a while, but when we do go ahead and start to break to the upside, this thing could happen very, very quickly, and we could go ahead and achieve 120 in no time, literally. So just keep that in mind. So don't think that it's not possible for us to see a certain quick move like this. Like I mentioned, 105 is going to be the area we want to focus on, between $103,000 and $106,000 for Bitcoin. So basically, guys, do not cheer if we see the market go up until we start entering the ranges of $103,000. Once we hit 103, that's going to be our first milestone. Our second one is going to be 106. Once we break past 106, guys, we will be mooning, and we will be seeing $120,000 being our next target, which basically means for the altcoins that we should be seeing some excitement there. Now, let's go ahead and read some questions real quick. HLL Meta. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Hi. Can we discuss potential list of the top 10 altcoins to consider for alt season? 100%. I'll go ahead and share that with you guys shortly. I actually do have a few. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. And the reason why we want to look into this, we want to know what we're looking at before we start looking into potential altcoins for altcoin season. But let's go ahead and take a look at a few indicators that I've been seeing that are kind of bullish. And this is the reason why I'm not losing hope. So as we talked about last, I believe this was either last stream or this was in our private session, our private community. But we talked about Ethereum right here still being in this downtrend. As I mentioned, one of the major areas that we want to go ahead and focus on for Ethereum, we want to go ahead and see Ethereum start approaching this $3,200 range. I don't think that makes it any easier for us to view. Let's see if I could change the color. We're going to go ahead and do red. Let's change the colors right here. Let's make it, no, that's not going to work. Maybe green. There you go. It's a little better. And let's go ahead and let's do purple. Red, purple, green. There you go. So we first want to go ahead. I would highly recommend all of you write these numbers down if you haven't already. Our private community already has this information. But if you haven't wrote this down, write this down, screenshot this if you have to. Keep in mind, this is a live stream. You could always go ahead and go back and rewatch it on all the platforms that we're live in. But right here for Ethereum, we want to go ahead and focus on seeing Ethereum break past $3,200 being the first milestone. The second, $3,600 and $3,800. This is where I believe once we break past $3,800, $5,000 Ethereum is around the corner. Now, you may ask, John, why is it that $3,800 is a major area. Once again, as we see right here for Ethereum, we see that once we enter this $3,800 range, there has been a lot of selling pressure, a lot of resistance, a lot of support. So as you see right here, back in April of 2024, when Ethereum reached this around 3,800, Ethereum went ahead and went all the way down. Same thing right here on the second attempt on June 2024. Try to go ahead and hold up that support, got rejected. And as we see right here, back again, we tried to get close to that in July of 2024. This was during the Ethereum ETF. And guess what? Ethereum actually went down lower, unfortunately. And between August and September, we saw Ethereum within this range right here, right? So once again, we went back up to $4,100. But once we came back down at around what was supposed to be our support, as you guys see right here, it went ahead and got rejected. So as you see, this is a very, very important area for Ethereum. So once we do break this $3,800, we'll see a move like this. Obviously, it's not going to go perfectly, but once we see $3,800 being broken, this is where essentially it's going to go ahead and tell us that we are now officially switching trends, and we are now going into it's a trend reversal. So that's what it basically means. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. So one thing I wanted to go ahead and show you with Ethereum is that if we take a look at the weekly, there's a little bit of hope. Look at this hope right here on the Ethereum. So this is the reason why we always have to go ahead and change it up. Look at the longer time frames, because the longer time frames are always going to give us a little bit data. So basically what we're seeing right now is that we are seeing a possible reversal happening right here. As you see, February was a green. Our first green week in literally, I would say, literally 2 weeks. Literally 2 weeks. And we finally got a green. Yes, on February 10th is when this candle closed. So if we could go ahead and see a little bit more action coming into Ethereum, I'm very, very excited to see how this week is going to end. But this is a little bit of hope. We'll see where things go. But as I mentioned, things don't look too bad when you look at things on the weekly time frame. It looks positive overall. I haven't taken a look at the monthly. Let's go ahead and quickly look into that. And the monthly also doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Yes, we have been down for 3 months, but we'll see how this range holds up. With that being said, the other indicator that I was looking at has been the DXY. Now, the thing with the DXY that I've been finding very, very interested is that we see right here with the DXY, technically, usually, and I say usually because it's been a little bit up and down. We had this discussion with Tyler today on the AMA for our private community. And we discussed how there has been a little bit of not as much correlation as we've seen in the past with Bitcoin and the DXY. What is the DXY? Why does this matter, John? So basically, to keep it very simple, every time the DXY goes up, usually the markets get hit, and every time the DXY goes down, usually that's a good sign for the markets. For the crypto markets, that means usually the market goes up. So as we're seeing right now, it's an inverse correlation. So basically what we want is we want the US dollar index to come down lower. But what we're seeing right here is what I've noticed on the daily is that we do see that this could be a possible downtrend. So if the dollar could go ahead and get rejected right here one more time, at around the 107.625 or even come up slightly to 108, we'll see where it rejects. But ideally, in the perfect world, if we could get rejected around this zone right here, we could definitely confirm that the DXY will be coming down, and this could potentially mean that we could be entering a bottom. So that's a good sign for the market. So these are the good news. Like I said, let's go ahead and stay hopeful. As you see, the best case, if we start seeing the DXY get it rejected even sooner, which could be potentially at around the zone right here, this would be great. If we could start getting rejected right here. But as I said, worst case scenario, we could slightly see the dollar still creep back up before we see it coming down to the zone right here at around the 105, which would be really, really good for the crypto market, basically. Now, I'm not sure if this is the second or third indicator that I've been looking at is the US 100, the NASDAQ. So what is going on in the market? So let's take a look at this. As we see the stock market right now, I would say close neutral. We are at this area of resistance. As we see, we did enter this zone right here back in December 16. before we saw this massive sell-off in the market. Keep in mind, December 16 was basically the top for the stock market and the crypto market. So the markets have, believe it or not, they do kind of correlate to one another. So as we're seeing right now, we are seeing the US 100 entering this area of resistance one more time. And the positive thing, if we could go ahead and hold up to the zone, we could be seeing a breakout, basically meaning that we will be seeing new all-time highs being created on the stock market, which would be a good sign for us. So as you guys see, a lot of good positive news so far, I would say. Keep in mind, this is a strong area of resistance, and looking at the weekly, we're going to see how the week closes. But if we could go ahead and see that breakout for the stock market, I think the whole entire sentiment could go ahead and pivot on us very, very quickly on a good side, right? On good things. So let's go ahead and talk about how you could go ahead and potentially be saving your money for all those that are not exposed to liquidity pools or any of that. Harvest.finance is a good platform to go ahead and check out. As you see right now in this kind of shakiness in the market, if you still want to be exposed to the market and earn some sort of fees or yield of your money, I would recommend, in my opinion, not financial advice, to go ahead and check out a platform like Harvest.finance, where USDC is being offered about 9% APY. This was actually at 13% yesterday. So slightly coming down, but a lot better than your banks, right? And this is riding on the base chain. Another one that I would say that looks pretty good in my eyes would be this one, this USDT at 4%, not too bad. Arrow, if you have Arrow, 9.37% for lending it. This is basically, you're lending your money. So as you see right now, a few stablecoin platforms that you can either go ahead and provide liquidity or basically lend. As you see this one right here, USDCE, which is a bridge to USDC, is currently offering 19.56% on a stablecoin. This one right here, Rector Fusion, coming in from 23.44%. I don't know what blockchain this is. What blockchain is this? I don't know what this blockchain is. I'm assuming it could be Base. No, it's this one right here. What is this little arrow? Oh, Zinc. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or ZK Zinc. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how you pronounce it. But that one's offering, a pretty good return. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about a few gems that I believe you should be exposed to in this market. A lot of you might already know. But first one on the list, I've always been big on sushi. Sushi right here. Quick little rundown as to the reason why I'm bullish on sushi. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but last week we started seeing a little bit of dominance coming into Pancake Swap. It went up actually over 50 to 60%. And it was in regards to CZ tweeting about his dog, and a meme coin got created and some other things. But anyways, that kind of started moving the market, right? Basically what I've noticed is that I've been noticing a trend. It hasn't been confirmed yet. We're going to go ahead and see if it's confirmed once this goes through. But I've noticed a trend that usually with decentralized exchange tokens, DEXs, usually as we start to see a little bit more volatility coming in, it could mean that we could be seeing a change in the market, right? So for the good thing. So right now, we've been seeing an increase of volatility in Pancake Swap or Cake. And I think that we could be seeing a little rundown or a little run up with the DEX tokens very, very soon. Now, looking at sushi, this thing has done pretty well when I called it back in our private community at around these ranges. I called it at around 50 cents. Did do pretty well for many of you. Did a little bit over a 3x, 3.8x, depending on where you bought. And as you see right now for Sushi Swap, this has now retraced quite a bit, currently down 69.67%, and actually went as low as 76%. So if you're considering looking into entering a token that has already retraced quite a lot, right now, not financial advice, is looking like we are near a bottom for this. And like I said, this is all going to be dependent on the rest of the market. So a lot of these tokens that I'm going to be showing you today are actually going to be following each other. Okay, so Sushi Swap is a decentralized exchange token. You could go ahead and buy, sell tokens. And basically, it's a multi-chain. So you could go ahead and do AVAX, Arbitrum, Base. I mostly use it for Base. And Sushi, the platform is called Sushi Swap. The platform is called sushi.com. And what I like about Sushi is you actually get the best pricing and the lowest fees when it comes to swapping tokens. I actually went ahead and confirmed that yesterday. I went ahead and pulled Uniswap and then Sushi Swap right next to each other, and I tried a transaction, and I was actually getting more tokens on Sushi Swap. So I love Sushi Swap. Like I said, this token is listed on Coinbase, which means it's going to be really, really easy to buy. Now, the reason why I mentioned I'm bullish on this is because as the market starts getting excited and as we start getting a little bit more risk on, we're going to start seeing a little bit more volatility into the lower cap tokens. And basically where a lot of people are going to be swapping these tokens are going to be in platforms such as Uniswap, Sushi Swap, Aerodrome, Finance. All these platforms is where you transact by providing liquidity or swapping tokens. So as you see right here for Sushi Swap, one of the main reasons why I'm bullish on this is because this is basically near its bottom. Once again, I called it back at around September at around 56 cents. And as you see right now, we're at 86 cents. We're almost around the same range that we were prior. The reason why I'm very bullish on Sushi Swap is because as you see, Sushi Swap's all-time high last bull cycle did go as high as $23. Now, not saying it's going to exactly happen. As I mentioned, I think it's possible. I don't think it's impossible. If we were to go ahead and measure exactly what that is, this is over a 26x, basically meaning if you were to put in $1,000 right now at his all-time high from last market cycle, that would be $26,000 that you would have. Now, let's say worst case scenario, it does a quarter of that or a third of that. We would be roughly getting about a 6x return, which I still think it's not too bad. And even if we were to do half of that, that would be about a 12x return. So I think these are very doable numbers. I think 6 to 12x is very, very possible. And I even do think a 26x is very possible, specifically considering the market cycle that we're going to be in. But let's just say worst case scenario, I think you could get a nice little 6 to a 12x return of your money on this token if things do well, right? One of the biggest key areas, and the reason why I mentioned this is because if we look at Sushi Swap from last cycle, Sushi Swap was within these ranges before we started seeing that all-time high and that breakout. So as you notice right here, back in November of 2022, so November 22 of 2020, Sushi was around this range between the 80 cents to $1, and then that's when we saw it go as high as $22. So basically with Sushi Swap, as I mentioned, it's a decentralized exchange token. We will say that there's a lot of major resistance at around this $1.87. And also, I think I actually said the numbers incorrectly, but it's between this range right here around the $2 to $3 range to keep it very simple. But basically, once we do start to see Sushi Swap start to recover, and we see the market start to recover, basically, once we go ahead and get towards this $2.30, we can hold that area pretty well. Our next target is going to be $6 to $8. So as you see, I think there's a lot more upside than downside for Sushi. Worst case scenario, we see it retrace another 30 to 40%. But as I mentioned, Sushi Swap is a utility token. So this is not a meme coin. This is a token that has utility and has been out for years. And as I mentioned, you're basically buying this token already at a discount. What is there? Like there really isn't much to really, I don't want to say there isn't much to lose, but there isn't much downside to this. It's already down 96%, right? And it's currently at a major a buying area from what it shows. Not saying that this is a buying area, by the way. Saying that's where it's currently at. Now, another one, as I've always been pretty bullish on, is Aerodrome Finance. The reason why I'm bullish on this, once again, a decentralized exchange token. And as you're seeing, basically the same similar chart that we just saw with Sushi. We're going to go ahead and see where Aerodrome goes down to, but we're basically near a support for Aerodrome. If we do go ahead and lose this 68 to 69 cent support, we are more than likely going to be entertaining 47 cents next for Aerodrome. But as you see, the whole market is pretty much in limbo right now. We have been seeing a lot of downside with Aerodrome, another token that our community has called out, one of our mentors. I'm not sure if it was probably Tyler that called this one out, but Aerodrome was doing very well too. As soon as August, as I mentioned, that liquidation grab that we had on the whole entire market, Aero went as low as 46 cents and then went ahead and did a little nice 3 to 4x return if you were able to capture that. So that's why when you go ahead and see this correction that you're seeing right now in the market, the 68% correction is totally normal, guys. Once we see these big returns and once we find that next support, new all-time highs will be created, hopefully. But once again, Aerodrome, the reason why I'm bullish on this is a decentralized exchange token where you can provide liquidity swap as well. It's one of the first ones. And one of the biggest things that I like about Aerodrome is that currently right now, if you've noticed, Aerodrome is the first, not only platform, a decentralized exchange on the Base network, but Coinbase, it's actually Coinbase's blockchain. So basically, if you've noticed, every token has its own, or every blockchain has its own token. And guess what? Base doesn't have his own token. So the only way you could be exposed to the Base network is by either being exposed to DeFi or buying Aerodrome Finance. So there's a lot of predictions saying that Aerodrome could go as high as what Uniswap went ahead and did. Uniswap was another one of the first Ethereum decentralized exchange tokens from last cycles. And that token went ahead and did very well. I think it went as high as $40. So a lot of people are comparing that to the Uniswap to Aerodrome and Aerodrome to Uniswap. But as we're seeing right now, we first need to go ahead and see a little bit more market recovery. But as you see, Aerodrome's all-time high was about $2.30. And then for Uniswap was, I'm not sure if it's going to show us on this chart on Coinbase. Yeah, it does. It was about $45. And as you see right here, also for Uniswap, it looks like we're entering some sort of support. So the whole entire market looks like there's a lot of buying opportunities. If you're not too sure, I would just recommend, not financial advice, either buying in a little bit right now or just waiting now 2 weeks. I think two weeks should be more than enough for us to get data on where the market's heading. But as you're seeing, basically the whole market is within this buying zone right now. Another token that I really like, I think it's VeChain. VeChain has a lot of potential. Once again, this token has done very, very well. I also called this token in our private community back at around, it was actually around the zone right here, around July, August, September is where I was talking about VeChain, and VeChain went ahead and did very, very well. VeChain went as high as over 3x and now has retraced quite a bit, has retraced over 60%. So it also looks like some sort of support is being located right now for VeChain, which we could go ahead and assume that this could be the support. So let's hope this area is also being held. And as I mentioned, one thing we've all noticed across all these tokens that we just looked at is that they're all in major area of supports. So we're literally this close from breaking support from a lot of these tokens and going down even further. So this is the reason why I'm saying, if you can't wait for the market, I would say throw in a little bit of money into these tokens if that's what you're looking to do. Let's say, for example, if you had, if you wanted to throw in, let's say you're like, John, VeChain sounds like a great token. Let me go ahead and throw in 10 grand, which I wouldn't recommend. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and throw in, let's say, $1,000 today, $1,000 by Friday, wait a few days, and then slowly scale your position in, because in the next coming days, if the market does go down and we don't get positive news, we continue to get negative news, we could go ahead and see most tokens do this. And as you see for altcoins, they're going to be taking a bigger beating. So we're going to be expecting, we could be expecting another additional 20 to 30% retracements for altcoins. It could probably be even a little bit higher, 30 to 40%. So just be very, very careful. Like I mentioned, do not throw a whole entire bag into this. Slowly scale into your position. What VeChain is within the real world asset narrative. They're actually in the supply chain management. So basically what they do is they actually just go ahead and track either products, or I'm not sure if you could track a service. Basically, I guess you can. But basically what they do is they track supplies or things like that. For example, let's say there's a delivery truck that's delivering cheese, right? So delivery trucks delivering cheese. It would be under the VeChain blockchain, basically giving you all the stats of the room temperature or the temperature of the cheese, whether it went up or down in the heat, things like that. It would give you all that data on the blockchain. That's basically what it is. VeChain already has big partnerships. They're already partnered with BMW, Walmart, H&M, Givenchy, the designer store, and I think Louis Vuitton and a few other designer stores. So there's already a lot of brands that are using VeChain. Also, if you watch the UFC, VeChain also sponsors the UFC, so you're going to see VeChain a lot as well. So maybe the reason why you recognize the name. So VeChain, I do think it's an undervalued gem. This token has been around for a while, and as we see last cycle within these ranges as well, once we saw these ranges being broken, we did see VeChain go as high as 27 cents. So measuring this area from this low from where we're currently at, and if we reach back to those all-time highs, that's about an 8x return over money, meaning you put in $1,000, that's $8,000 if it reaches its previous all-time high. I think, in my opinion, I think it could go higher. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this cycle we're riding on the real world asset narrative. As you guys have been hearing a lot of talks of Ondo and things like that, tokenizing things, tokenizing people, cars, loans. One big one is AVAX. I always talk about this one, AVAX and DMV, tokenizing 42 million car titles. So I think this cycle, real world assets is going to be a very, very hype thing. So VeChain is definitely on my list. Another one would be XLM. I personally like XLM. If you guys are a fan of XRP, XLM is basically XRP on steroids. I also called this one in our private community back at around July. It was actually around July I was talking about this. So if you guys were able to capture that bottom, which was around 7 cents, this token did very, very well for you. Did pretty well. It did about a 6x return over money if you were able to get that bottom when I called it. And as you see right here, with XLM, we have seen that retracement down to 49% currently, and its low has been 58%. But once again, as we talked about, if the support doesn't hold, we could be, unfortunately, seeing VeChain alongside other assets come back down even further, which is what we do not want to see, because that would basically mean that if we start losing support one more time, 16 cents will be the area for VeChain, right? Which is not a problem. It just means more blood in the markets, which most of us are tired of seeing that. But basically, XLM falls basically within the same narrative of XRP. Is supposed to be for cross-border payments. Banks, institutions are using them. I think XLM's partnered with, if I'm not mistaken, either MoneyGram or Western Union. One of those two. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a pretty big service that's already being used right now, right? So it could be MoneyGram, I believe, that they're using it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Western Union, but it's a pretty big one. I mean, that's some pretty big news, right? And that's been out for a while now. I think over a year plus in news. But yeah, you could go ahead and look a little bit more into that. Also falling within the narrative of real world assets. And let's go ahead and give out another one. Let's see. Another one that I like personally, I would say Solana, definitely. I know despite all the kind of bearishness that we've been seeing in the market, I think Solana, in my opinion, is at a buying opportunity. If we could go ahead and see Solana go down even further, like as I mentioned, if we do see this market go down even further, we could see potentially Solana come back down to 137. I don't think $100 would be possible again. I don't think it'd be too much of a good sign if we do start seeing this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do even come entertain the 139, 140 range. I think that would be definitely a good buying opportunity. But once again, at a major buying zone as well for Solana. So as you're seeing, a lot of these tokens are basically at their near bottom, hopefully, and they're at a pretty strong support. So if support starts to get lost, it's not going to be too much of a good thing. We could be seeing a little bit more bleeding. But Solana, I think it's a pretty hype token. As you see, a lot of the tokens are a lot of the meme coins that are being launched are on Solana, and there's a lot of excitement on that blockchain. So I think Solana is going to be a good one in my opinion. Now, with one of them that's a little bit more, I'll give you two more before I go ahead and pivot. Degen, I've already talked about this one. This one is a layer 3. It's basically a layer 2 to a layer 3. So basically it's running on Base, and they have their own blockchain, which is called Degen Chain. This token has dumped a lot, as you see, since I'm not sure if it's since Coinbase lists them, but if you were to actually go ahead and take a look at Degen on, let's just say, DEX tools, you'll be able to notice that DGen's also looking pretty good as far as the charts. It's going to be this one right here. Token's been out for a year, 47 million market cap, 1.7 million in liquidity, 1.17 million in 24-hour volume. I've been talking about this one for a while. Shivam was pretty big on this one too. Let's see if this one loads up. But as you see right here, also seems to be at a major buying area from where we were at back in September. We do see that DGen back in September of 2024, DGen went ahead and did over a 10x return of your money, which I believe Shivam was really, really big on DGen. And DGen, this is one of the best ways to be exposed to the Base network. Once again, also listed on Coinbase. As I said, basically at its near bottom, and obviously it won't look good if we do start losing even more support. But as you've noticed, all these tokens are basically at their near bottom right now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the bottom, but DGen's another one. Now I'm going to leave you with this one. A lot of you might be surprised, but to get you a little bit more excited into the market, Shiba. I think Shiba, in my opinion, is looking pretty good. Also at his bottom, if we were to go ahead and see where Shiba currently is at, Shiba Inu is a meme coin, one of the second largest meme coins at the time from last bull cycle. And we see that back here around September, August, we started to see a movement in Shiba, and this was a nice little 1x return of your money. Not too crazy. If you wanted a little bit more volatility, I would say Pepe would be your next one, but SHIB, in my opinion, I think could get you a nice little trade if you want to have that exposure to those meme coins without being too risky, without having to worry about a token rugging on you or you losing completely all your money. Shiba has been out for years, over 4 years now, I believe. And I think this could easily go over 2x. Like I said, this one is not too impressive, in my opinion, when it comes to multipliers. But in my opinion, it's also one of the lowest when it comes to taking risk, when it comes to being exposed to meme coins. So Shiba would be one to also consider. But basically, those are most of my tokens. I do have more. Unfortunately, I am running out of time, and I do have to go ahead and get going. So literally, I have 1 minute left. But what I will go ahead and do, guys, I'll go ahead and catch you guys next week. I do have to go ahead and join our private community. So if you are one of our private members, I'll go ahead and see you guys in my office hours. For all of you, go ahead and drop that like button, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And remember, I'm going to be here joining you guys every Tuesday and Thursday. But Thursday, Tristan's going to be with us. So we're going to have a little bit more market insights. With that being said, guys, I hope all of you have a great rest of your night or day. And I'll go ahead and catch you guys in my office hours for all of those that are in our community. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care. And I appreciate all of you coming in today.